Hello, and thank you for joining me again this week in our Tuesday Tidbit, where we quickly try to cover one topic in a video short because knowledge is power. So guys, today I wanted to discuss a conversation that I had with one of my massage clients. She told me of a conversation that they had in a vet appointment last week where the veterinarian was just not happy that they were feeding a grain-free kibble. That really got my wheels turning, and I realized that I actually had the opposite thing happen a couple weeks ago. If you remember the video, we actually had an emergency situation and had to rush off to ER. And the emergency veterinarian literally lectured me for feeding a raw diet. I was a little dumbfounded, but I politely tried to explain to her that, 70% of our health comes from within in the gut, and there's nothing you can do better than to feed a whole food diet. I tried to explain that, handling the raw products, it's really no different than prepping your Thanksgiving turkey or putting a burger on the grill. That's why we have soap and water, right? And as far as the fallacy of all the salmonella and all of that, that's just that, a fallacy. As long as you're getting a good product, a product from a manufacturer that maintains good manufacturing standards. Along with that, make sure that you do your homework. And there's a process out there called HPP that's become kind of controversial. But I will tell you, one of the funnest parts about doing a raw diet is you, as a pet owner, are just completely involved in their diet, in their life. And you get to customize that. If you do your homework, choose good fruits and veggies that you know are healthy and non-toxic, you can absolutely add those to the raw diet. There are commercial products that even have those already added in it. It's really a lot of fun. And in their teenage years, they're thriving. Anyway, going back to the client who had the conversation with their veterinarian in a grain-free food. What's my take on that? Well, I will tell you, a few years back, Purina and Nestle came out with a report stating that they were seeing an alarming amount of pets with DCM, dilated cardiomyopathy, because they were being fed a grain-free diet. I will share with you that a couple years later, the FDA came out and said, there is absolutely no concrete evidence to that claim. There's no studies, and there's just not enough research. They debunked it. So what was going on? Well, as it turned out, a lot of the lower grade companies were substituting the grains with legumes, and it was causing legume like pea starch, peas, chickpeas, things like that, and they were using those lesser quality carbohydrates as a filler to help their bottom line so that they didn't have to add the good protein or the good nutrition, which would cost them more money. So what was happening, though, is that all of these legumes were causing this cascade within the body, and it was decreasing taurine, which in and of itself was causing some dis-ease. So why did Purina do this? I hate to speculate, but it is rumored that, everybody knows that Purina doesn't turn out the best products, but I think they were trying to increase their bottom line while shedding light on the good companies as not being so good and decreasing their bottom line. Corporations, competition, what do? It's really unfortunate that happened. But let's talk about grains themselves. Are grains necessary? No. Guys, these little beasts are carnivores. In the wild, they're scavengers. They don't do the first kill. They get there almost last. They're picking the meat off the bones. They're chewing up the bones themselves and getting that marrow. They don't get the grains. They're not the primary predator who successfully made the kill and therefore getting the entrails, which may contain quite a bit of grain from the antelope or buck mule or whatever. They're just not necessary. You want to ramp up the food, you want to ramp up the nutrition, again, good quality fruits and veggies is all you need to do. But what about ancient grains? Well, they're not necessarily bad. They actually can provide some nutrition, some fiber, some probiotics, vitamins. They can actually provide a little bit of protein as well. They can soothe the gut. I personally just don't lean that way. There's a lot of debate in the holistic field, and I don't know, in my circle of people that I work with, other holistic practitioners, I don't know many that actually go that way. Anyway, if you'd like to talk more about a whole food diet, there are a lot of different options. You don't have to do raw, and kibble is just really hard on a body. It's hard for them to digest. It's not good for fluid intake. It's so dry. It doesn't help the kidneys. It doesn't help the liver. There's a lot of stuff there in between. There's air dried, there's dehydrated. There's lots of different products on the market that we can discuss and help you provide a better preventative lifestyle for your pet. We can also talk about essential oils. We can talk about vaccinations. We can talk about, if you're not a cannabis subscriber, we can talk about other remedies and solutions for your pup or your feline that have arthritis or are achy, and decrease that inflammation. So anyway, that's about it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. I'd so love to see you next week, and I'd love to hear from you if you'd like to reach out. That's it. We'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.